Good morning, second graders, and welcome to math. We are in our math book, page 541, and it is chapter 11, the fourth lesson, and we're going to measure length in inches. Yesterday and the day before, we were working with centimeters, but today we're working with inches. So our target, what we are trying to get to, is we are trying to measure the length of an object in inches. Okay. Now we sent some files that you could print out. This is centimeters, and you notice that those are a smaller set of numbers, and these are inches. So if I'm looking at this, to go from 0 to 1, that's 1 inch. That would be about 3, a little less than 3 in centimeters. So we make sure that we are using the correct ruler to do this when we are looking for inches. All right. And the way we do this is we don't start at the beginning of the paper, and we don't start at the beginning of the plastic or the metal, or if you're using a different kind of ruler, we have to start on the 0. That is our starting spot. So I don't start like this with the edge of the paper or the edge of the ruler. I put the 0 right at the beginning. All right. So I go from here to here, and when I get to the end of this string, I look at the number that's close to it. Okay, it won't be exact, but about. They're saying this is 2 inches. We go from 1 to 2. And then I come down here and I measure this next string. And when I put the 0 right at the beginning, I look and I say 1, 2, 3. It is about 3 inches. So I put 3 right there. And the next one, see how they're getting larger, larger, larger. So if I'm looking at this and my next number is smaller than 3 or smaller than 2, but the string is larger, then I have to look again, right? I have to understand that my next number will be bigger than the number before because my string is bigger than the number before. I put the 0 at the beginning of this, and I say, I go all the way to the end. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It is about 4 inches long. All right. Now, explain how I measured. I used this measuring tape because I don't have an inch tile. But when I use my measuring tape, I line up the 0 at the start of the line and measure to the end. Right? From 0 to the end. From 0 to the end. All right. All right. So let's look at page 542. We'll see where we're going. Oops. Page 542. Start measuring from the 0 mark on the ruler. That's what we were just talking about. Find the inch mark closest to the end of the object, right? So if they're looking at this domino and they line up the ruler, there's 0, 1, 2, and it lines up very close to there. So it is about 2 inches. All right. Then all we have to do is go through these next objects and try to find out how big they are. All right, so if we measure, I put my 0 at the beginning, and I line up, and I go to the end of the object, and it is just a little bit over 3, but it's not close enough to 4 to make me say it's about 4 inches. It's about 3 inches. All right, let's do the next item. That is a quarter. And I line up my 0 with the inch ruler that I printed out. And I taped it together at the 6. I just lined it up and taped it together. I line up my 0 and I go to the end, and this quarter is about 1 inch. All right, and I go and I do the same for this screwdriver. I put the 0 at the beginning, not the edge of the paper. I don't start on 1. I start on 0, and I go all the way to the end, and I look at the number that's the closest. That is a 5. All right. Now, every once in a while, I get to tell you a clue. If you were taking a test, boys and girls, this is a clue. This one said about how many inches. See that ES there? And this one says about how many inches. And this one says about how many inch. Ooh, they gave us a clue that it was only going to be 1 and not plural. All right? Look for things like that. And when you're taking tests and doing things on the computer, if you find something like this, it's a clue. All right. Let's go on to the next part. It doesn't have anything to do with measuring, but something you should know. All right, here we go. We are on page 543, and I line up my 0 at the beginning of the spoon, and I go to the end of the spoon, and I look down. It is very close to the 4. So it is about 4 inches. There we go. And I have an eraser. There we go, making sure that I start at the 0 and I go to the end. Oh, see how it went over a little bit, but it's not more than halfway close to the 3. So I'm going to say it's still very close to the 2 inches, right? And it says about. There are about 2 inches. All right, now it says draw a crayon that is about 4 inches long. Well, what we can do is we can draw a line like this to give us a guideline. All right, so I'm going to put a mark here, and I'm going to come and put a mark at the end, and that will be my 4-inch line. It is about 4 inches. Now all I have to do is draw a crayon that is about 4 inches, about as long as this line. All right, and I draw an oval. Let's see, I'll draw a half of an oval here. Go straight over, straight over. My paper moved. And then I come down to a point like this. And let's see, there's the paper that's on the end and the paper that's on this end. And in the middle, there's an oval with the name. And let's see, we're going to call this color math. This is the color of math. All right. Mr. Garrett's being silly. All right. It says, you be the teacher. Your friend says that the watch is about 6 inches long. Is your friend correct? Well, let's come down to the end and look. Oh, wait a minute. It is on the 7. Is that about 6 inches long? Let me look. Oh, wait a minute. I noticed something. Did you notice that too? This did not start on the 0. If I was able to move this watch, I would have to move it 1 over to start at the correct place. So it doesn't end on the 7. It ends 1 over, right? I would have to start this there, and that means that this end doesn't stay there. It goes over 1. And guess what? We are on the 6. Right? If I didn't start in the right place, then my ending is not correct. So when we are the teacher, we would be able to say, yes, my friend is correct. The starting point is on 1. Oops. So the ending is 1 number smaller. Right? So it looks like it ended on the 7, but since it jumped forward 1, they didn't start in the right place, it is 1 number smaller. All right, let's keep going. Today I have this. It says, will the toothbrush, we're on page 544, will the toothbrush fit inside a case that is 4 inches long? So I have a case and it is 4 inches long. Will the toothbrush fit inside? Let's see. So I'm going to get out my ruler and I'm going to say this is a toothbrush that is about 6 inches. So it will not fit inside. And then here's the lines for you to explain. The toothbrush is longer than 4 inches. If it was going to fit inside, it would have to be shorter than 4 inches so it would fit. Will the colored pencil fit inside a pencil box that is 8 inches long? Let's take a look. I get out my ruler and I start on the 0, not on the 1, not at the edge of the paper, on the 0. And I say, how long is this pencil? It is about 5 inches long. Will that fit inside of a box that is 8 inches long? If my box goes all the way to this, will it fit inside? Yes. Yes, the pencil, this is where we explain, the pencil is shorter than the 8-inch box. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to do the next pages. I want you to do page 545 and 546. Let's do these to show what you know. Make sure you look at your learning target and have a great day.